Help is on the way for the New York Knicks. We've got some positive injury updates to get into on today's show as you're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules as we get you caught up with everything. Not at the studio today, but still wanted to get you guys a video. That's what we do around here. When news comes out, when rumors come out, when anything happens with the New York Knicks, we're going to get you a video as soon as possible. So subscribe and turn your notifications on and enjoy the best page on YouTube that covers the Knicks, as well as offers live watch parties for every single game. We've got injury news to talk about with Brunson, with Randle, with Robinson, as well as OG Anunoby. Let's start with Jalen Brunson, the most recent injury for this basketball team. We saw what happened with Brunson a couple of days ago, had that knee injury. They're calling it a bone bruise. The x-rays and MRIs did come back negative, which is a positive and really good sign for the New York Knicks. And for everybody that wants to see this basketball team succeed, they know Jalen Brunson's going to have to be on the floor. And we all got scared for a little bit that maybe that was a more serious injury than it ended up being. I thought maybe the season might have been over, but it sounds like it's getting right back on track. And Jalen Brunson, he may be right back on track to play in tomorrow's game against the Orlando Magic. This is what Fred Katz said. Jalen Brunson did most of practice today, and Tom Thibodeau said he doesn't know what the Knicks will list him as Jalen Brunson on the injury report. So Tibbs said Jalen Brunson did most of practice today. He may still be questionable, may be able to just be a full go for the Orlando Magic game. If he needs one more game off, give him one more game off. But I think the Knicks do need to start realizing what is going on right now in the Eastern Conference, and I'm sure they are very well aware, and it's very, very fortunate for them that they're starting to get healthy. This is going to be a big game against the Orlando Magic. Knicks haven't beat them this year. None of the games I feel like have really been that competitive. We haven't matched up with them well at all. They've kind of bullied us, and Franz Wagner, as well as Paolo Banchero, have dominated this team. Getting a guy back like Jalen Brunson to play in that game would be huge because the Knicks are just a couple of games behind the Orlando Magic, and they're only a couple of games out of the play-in. And you got two tough games coming up against Philadelphia right around the corner, and the schedule does not get any easier. I'm not going to say it's a must-win, but getting Jalen Brunson out there would be huge, and it would definitely increase their odds. It would also be nice to see OG Anunoby playing against the Magic. Not so sure he'll be ready to go then, but he might just be ready to play against the Philadelphia 76ers coming up later this weekend. Tom Thibodeau said OG Anunoby is going through contact drills and is playing 5-on-5 now. Sounds like he's getting closer. Tibbs said he's now day-to-day, but he hasn't been cleared to fully play yet. Last week was when Anunoby was cleared to resume on-court basketball activities. We told you from that point in about a week he was going to be reevaluated. He has been cleared for contact, which is a huge step in the right direction. And on top of that, he's participating in live 5-on-5 basketball drills. And he's day-to-day, which means we are days away from getting back to potentially that team that we saw in January on the floor when they were the best team in the NBA, the best defense in the NBA, had a massive winning streak going, had the city on fire, and had everybody believing that they could represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals, and maybe just, not even going to say it, but OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, they're both going to be, I would expect, day-to-day, and it may be those games against the Philadelphia 76ers that they are back. Let's talk about Mitchell Robinson, then we'll talk about Julius Randle. Tom Thibodeau said Mitch looks good, which is a good step. He also said that Mitchell Robinson told Tom Thibodeau to tell everyone that. But the real news here is that Mitch can now run, and he can now jump. And what it would mean to get Mitchell Robinson back on this basketball team, back on the floor, and even if he's only 85 to 80% of what he was, would be a massive, massive lift. I am a huge fan of Isaiah Hartenstein. I love the grit. I love the grind. I feel like he truly represents what it means to be a New York Knick. But I think with Robinson coming back, you could almost cut back even more so, or have Isaiah Hartenstein rest for 2 weeks and then make sure he's 100% for the playoffs. Because I appreciate how much of a soldier mentality and warrior-like spirit that Isaiah Hartenstein has, and the never say die, and he wants to play through this injury. But I kind of feel like him doing that is somewhat hurting this team a little bit. And he's having to do it because there's not a lot of players on this roster outside of him, Precious Achiuwa, and Jericho Sims that can do the things the Knicks need at that center spot. But if you're able to get Mitchell Robinson back, that would be a huge, huge, huge lift. And if you could have a healthy Mitch and a healthy iHeart going into the playoffs, we're going to get back to being those New York Bullies on the court and dominating teams and just sucking the life out of games. I'm excited to see that. Let's talk about Randle in a second. First, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Pick more, pick less. That's how you play Prize Picks. Prize Picks sets a total for every single player for every single game, and all you do is pick more or less. You create a lineup of 2 to 6 players. The more players you have, the more money you can win. And just because the NFL is over, and as well as college football, that does not mean that it's the time to stop playing Prize Picks. It's time to ramp it up because the NBA action is heating up, and my favorite time, March Madness, is almost here, and that's going to be a lot of fun to play Prize Picks. Check them out, prizepicks.com/CLNS. And get yourself a free $100. Use that promo code CLNS. I'll put all that information and make it clickable down in the comments and description. Alrighty, let's talk about Julius Randle. We know where he is at this point. We've seen him start to warm up prior to games. He started to work out really hard prior to games. A subscriber on this channel, Jason B. Shout out to my guy, one of the original subscribers and supporters of this channel. Always going to have love for him. Shout out to Jason B. if you're watching this. He was at the Knicks game in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. He sat right behind the Knicks bench. He said he was there for the entire warm-ups, and he said Randle was getting after it. He said Randle was going hard, and we saw the pictures. We showed it on the show. He was drenched. He was sweaty. He put in a good amount of work. He's been doing it for about a week or so, and while he has not been fully cleared for contact or a little bit, he's now been cleared for light contact, which baby steps, right? Because prior to this, he was taking some contact, but only from a pad. It was like an assistant coach holding the pad, and when he'd drive, he'd play defense with the pad and kind of, give him some contact looks there. But they are now saying he has worked towards light contact. So does that mean he's participating against some other players in a kind of laid-back setting? I don't know, but I do think that Randle is getting closer and closer to returning. And it's tough not to get excited potentially about a team that is fully healthy that features Brunson, DiVincenzo, OG, Randle, maybe Mitch in the starting lineup, and then your bench, which you're kind of a deep team now with McBride, and who knows if Burks is going to play. Who knows if Shake Milton's going to play. We know Josh Hart's going to play. We know Bojan Bogdanovic is going to play. Precious Achiuwa has earned the right to play. If iHeart's healthy, he's going to play. If not, it'll be Jericho. His team's deep, and I am just ready to see them back healthy. It's been a tough month. February sucked. Where did they go? 5-9 in the month of February. Lost 14 games. They've been a bad basketball team, but they haven't had the weapons. They've had to go into a gunfight with no gun, so I understand that. I just believe in this team so much. I have so much faith in this team, and I truly see the vision that they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals and a ball bounces their way or something, and they could be representing the East in the NBA Finals for the first time in a long, long time. Gotta get healthy. Gotta get healthy, and it sounds like they are. So rapid fire here. These are all the injury updates that we have. Anunoby cleared for contact drills, and he's doing 5-on-5. Jalen Brunson did most of practice today. Anunoby as well is day-to-day. Mitchell Robinson can run, and he can jump, and he looks good. And Julius Randle is now taking light contact. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. And remember, we'll be live on the channel tomorrow for the Orlando Magic game. Subscribe, turn your notifications on, and let's go Knicks.